Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 39 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and into the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. Just to get a basketball nugget out of the way, Anthony Davis spraining an ankle in China. Doesn't look to be that serious, Lenny, but obviously anytime he goes down, you have to be concerned.
Just a recurring story here, Anthony Davis gets hurt and leaves the game. That's, play the playback button and see how many times we've mentioned that over the last 5 years. Again, hopefully it's not serious. He's got plenty of time on a flight back home from China to get that thing iced up and ready to go. With the Pelicans playing the final 2 preseason games next week here back in the States as they get ready for the season opener just a couple of weeks away.
College football, the weekend starts with Tulane on Friday night at Yulman Stadium against a 4-1 Memphis squad that beat them in Memphis last year when they were very good. Memphis is still pretty good, and it's a great measuring stick for Tulane. And as it turns out, because of the postponement of the Central Florida game, the Green Wave have had a week to rest and 2 weeks to prepare for the Tigers.
Well, obviously they were focused, at least at the beginning of last week, on UCF, the game that did not get played. But again, it came early enough in the week. It was a Wednesday postponement that Willie Fritz was able to give his team off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, bring them back in Sunday night and get ready for a regular week in terms of preparing for Memphis. So they did get some rest. Look, Memphis has owned Tulane, very simply. 9 straight wins in this series going back to 2000. And, this could really be a benchmark kind of game if Tulane can pull the upset. Memphis is a double-digit favorite, and rightly so. But this is the kind of game that you look at and you say, you can find a way to win this game. This could be the game that you look back on and say, hey, Tulane really turned the corner with a win over Memphis, perhaps. It's going to be a tough challenge nonetheless.
LSU gets Southern Mississippi on Saturday. It's a Southern Miss team that can score, but they can't stop anybody. Frank Wilson's team putting a bunch of points on them from Texas San Antonio last week. So LSU would look to be fine in this game. Style points do matter. Progress matters. So this game will be measured not about LSU winning the game, which they're expected to do, but how they win the game.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if Leonard Fournette can play. We should know more as we get later in the week on that. I would lean, again, if he's not ready to go, I would lean towards the side of caution there, feeling like you saw what this offense did against Missouri. If you could do that again against Southern Miss, you give them another week. You've got Ole Miss coming to town for a late one next Saturday night, 8 o'clock kick in Baton Rouge. Try to get him ready for that game.
Saints, of course, are back home after a week off against Carolina Sunday at noon in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Cam Newton, we'll wait and see what happens there. Jonathan Stewart possibly returning. Where the Saints are concerned, they expect, or you would expect, let's put it that way, to have 1 or 2 guys back. We'll find out when it happens. Bottom line is an extra week to heal up, an extra week to prepare. Carolina on a short week. On paper, it stacks up well for the Saints, but it's still the Carolina Panthers.
It's still the Carolina Panthers who, regardless of the circumstances, have always played the Saints tough. And remember this, and Sean Payton has said this before, the more desperate team is the team that wins the games most of the time. If Carolina isn't desperate right now after a 1-4 start, after just a really discouraging effort on Monday night against Tampa Bay. I know they had a bunch of guys hurt, obviously including Cam Newton, but some of the things that you saw happen in that game, you just shook your head and said, this is the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. That's what scares me about this game in regards to Carolina. They are going to be, even though it's a short week and the Saints are rested, they are going to be a desperate team.
All right, so it's a crazy busy week with high school football for SportsNOLA.com, for WHNO TV, WGSO Radio, you name it, we've got it, so let's talk about it.
4 games. 4 games you can watch live at SportsNOLA.com. Let's run them down. Thursday night, 6:30, it's the Magnet Bowl in Jefferson Parish. Undefeated Haynes against Thomas Jefferson. Friday night, our first trip out to Lutcher for the First NBC Bank Prep Showcase. Lutcher St. James, does it get any bigger than that? Saturday afternoon, Catholic League lead on the line. This will also be part of the First NBC Bank Prep Showcase. John Curtis, St. Augustine. By the way, you can watch those games on tape delayed on WHNO Channel 20. Get St. James Lutcher Saturday at noon. You've got John Curtis St. Aug Saturday at 6. Sandwiched around, by the way, college football, Louisiana Tech and UMass Saturday at 2:30. So just set your dial with Channel 20 on Saturday and don't move it. Lastly, another big game in the Catholic League. The other undefeated team, Archbishop Rummel, takes on Jesuits Saturday night at 7. Between, the whole 2-screen thing, which I know you do at home, right? Have your computer opened up to SportsNOLA.com, watch the live streams, have your TV on WHNO TV 20. You are set
I'll be doing that for the first three. I'll be kind of busy with the last one, doing that one for SportsNOLA and at WGSO 990 AM. Of course, the original Friday night at 6 on WGSO and throughout the state. And the scoreboard at SportsNOLA.com Friday nights in conjunction with the radio show is where everybody comes to get their scores. You should too. Tell the other guys about it and the other ladies and make sure they come. Did I get that right?
I think you did.
All right. That'll do it, right?
I think you have covered everything there is to cover on a crazy week for football, and there's no better place to be right here in SportsNOLA.com to check it all out.
I like butter, too. All right, that's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 39 locations throughout the New Orleans area and growing. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. He's Lenny. I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.